Hi everyone, I'm Carol Keller, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Illinois in the US, and I have a fun fold card for you today. Very simple, no measuring involved, which I really like, and I think it has a nice impact, so I hope you like it too. Remember that if you are watching on my YouTube channel, check out my other videos. I have lots of other card videos, scrapbook pages, home decor items, tips, techniques, beginner videos, and I do paper pumpkin alternatives every month. So hopefully you'll find something there that is useful to you. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and click on the bell and you will be notified when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. Let's get started. Here is my card, and it's a fun fold because it actually doesn't open up in the traditional way. It doesn't open up at all, really. And it's got the little fold here, but also it's got a piece that comes out instead of having an inside. This is the inside of the card. And I will say it's a little bit of a tight fit, but it works, and I think it's adorable. So that is the card for today. We are actually using some of the same products and some different ones. So on this one, I use the Thoughtful Wishes bundle, and I'm still going to use that, but I'm also using the In the Grove bundle for the next card. And I used the, is it Thoughtful Designs? What's it called? Hang on. Thoughtful Journey. That's right. Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper. And I'm using it again, but I'm using different ones from the ones that I used here. And I'm going to take this out again so that you can see. This is different from this one. And I just folded down the flap on this one so that it coordinated with both of them. And so that's one thing you want to think about when you're designing. So we'll move that aside. I'm still starting with a Petunia Pop base. This is 5.5 inches by 4 1/4. And if you're in metric, 14.9 by 10.5. And then these are the two papers that I chose from that set. So you can see there's a different color palette. And I chose them because this on the back will fold down to coordinate as well. So that was the idea, where this one really didn't. I started trying to see if this would work, but I didn't like it as much. So I decided to use the other side and just turn it around so that it matches. And I have cut these down already. Both of them are 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches, or 14.4 centimeters by 10 centimeters. So first layer size, basically. And this one is going to go on right away. I'm going to use my seal for that. It really is hard when both sides of the paper are pretty to cover one up. So I do like the idea of this card because you can let some of the backside peek through. And now for this part, we're just going to fold down the corner. There are no measurements, which is really nice. You don't have to mark anything. You just basically fold it down at an angle, however far you would like. And I'm going to grab my bone folder to give it a nice crease. And then on the back side, we're going to use tear and tape because it's nice and strong. We're going to put it on 3 sides. So we're going to put it on the short side and try to get it close to the edge, probably a little closer than I did it there, because it is a little bit of a tight fit. So I'm going to put this right along the edge here, because that's where you're going to slide it in. So I think it'll be all right, but the closer the better. And then the same thing at the bottom. I'm going to put that nice and close as well. And I'm going to grab my take your pick tool, give it a little bit of a burnish so that the tool picks up the paper and not the adhesive. And then we're going to layer it right over. So I lined mine up at the bottom because I thought that was easier. Making sure that both sides were lined up. And we're going to, again, burnish because we want this to be nice and stable and strong because we're going to be taking something out of it. And then the last thing you're going to do to sort of prep is grab a dimensional. Just grabbed one here and we're going to put it right in the corner like that. And so that's the basis of our card. So easy. And then for the next part, all right, sorry, I had a little glitch with the stamping. So we are redoing. All right, this is the piece for the inside of the card. It is 4.5 inches by 3.25 inches so that it fits right inside. Just like that. And we're going to stamp on this part first, and then we'll add the tab, because this is where I went wrong with the first one. So we're going to bring in boho blue, and we've got these trees from the In the Grove stamp set, and they coordinate. My boho blue may need a little re-inking. Ah, see, this was where I went wrong before. Let's see, I have straight ink here and it messed me up, so I don't want to have straight ink, so I'm going to try that again. It's better to just start over than to create a disaster. So let me see if I can do that again without getting any straight ink. Okay, not too bad. A little bit here, we'll get that off. Yeah, that looks better. So we're going to start by stamping the trees here so that it coordinates with the outside of the card. Much better than my first attempt, I'm happy to say. Next, we're going to stamp the sentiment on the inside. This is going to be a thank you card. So we are using different sentiments from the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set. So this one is You Make Life Better. Got a little more straight ink. We're going to get rid of that, so I don't have to start over again. All right, much better. So now that's the inside stamping, and we're gonna punch from the boho blue. One of the label, I think it's called Labeled with Love. And I'm going to score it. And I found the easiest way to do that was to center it between the 3 centimeter marks, because it's exactly 3 centimeters on each side. So then I know it's centered, and then I'm going to score, and then I've got a fold that is exactly in half. I'm going to open it back up for a second though, and we're going to take the thanks stamp, because this is a thank you card, and we're going to stamp thanks up at the top of the front half of this, like this. And then there are die cuts that come with the In the Grove bundle, and there is, let me show you, a bunny and a little squirrel. So we're going to take that bunny and we're going to use a glue dot and we're going to put it right underneath, just like this. Cute little bunny. Then I'm going to take my multi-purpose liquid glue, because this tab is going to get pulled in and out presumably several times at least, and we want it to adhere without coming up. So I'm going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue on both sides, because it has to adhere on both sides of this piece of cardstock. And then turn it around the right way and put it here, and then before, you want to have it obviously sticking up so they can grab it. And I used my grid paper to align it so it's straight. Whoops. Let's see, it's straight there. Yeah, that looks better. And then we're going to burnish so the glue catches. So now we have our inside done. We're going to work on the outside. So I'm going to bring in that scrap of boho blue again. All right, now I have another scrap of boho blue, and we're going to stamp first before we punch. And I'm going to stamp Dearest Friend, I Appreciate You. So there are 2 different stamps, and I could mount them all on one, but I'm going to see if I can do this and get it straight. So I've got I Appreciate You, and I did that first because it's a little bit crooked on the stamp, and so I felt like this one I would have a little more, it's a little straighter. Oh yeah, that's good. My first couple attempts, not so much. Okay, so we're gonna use the punch. And so now that it's stamped, we can center it. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. And that's gonna go about here, but I want a little more embellishment just like I had here. So I'm going to take a scrap, another scrap. All right, so this was actually a scrap from my first attempt at this. And yeah, we'll keep it this way. And I'm just gonna stamp it with the trees and trying again to make sure there's no stray ink, although it's less of an issue now. If you get stray ink now, we're just gonna cut it out anyway, so it really doesn't matter, because when we cut it with the die, it will eliminate that. But that looks pretty good. I think we'll just do the one. We'll see what that looks like. So I'm gonna cut this out. I think our stamping is done. So I'm gonna cut that out and be right back. All right, so I cut that out, and I did forget one more thing. I would also stamp the trees on the front left corner of the envelope, the front bottom left corner. So I would suggest doing that as well. To me, a card is not finished until you do something with the envelope too. All right, so let's see. We'll put this in here since it is done. Oh yeah, I like that with that bunny peeking out. And then our dearest friend is going to go here. And actually, oh, I like that. But I almost want to do this in Petunia Pop. Let's see what that looks like. All right, I'm going to do that quickly. I've got a scrap of Petunia Pop. I'm going to try it one more time. Let's see here. Sorry, this was run through. It looks like it was run through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and it's got ridges and stuff on that side. That's why I flipped it over. So we're going to start. I'm going to try it. I want to see what it looks like with the Petunia Pop, because I think it may be better with a little bit of contrast. So we'll stamp that and the dearest friend one more time, and then see which is which, or which looks best. All right, and we'll bring in the punch. And that's the nice thing about a punch too, it's quick. See if that looks pretty centered, maybe up a little bit. Yeah, because I think that will make, oh yeah, I like the contrast of that better. What do you think? So you could do it either way. You could do tone on tone all the way across, or you could use the Petunia Pop for a little contrast. I think I'm going to use that one. And so this one, I am going to bump up with dimensionals, especially because this is bumped up too. We'll grab a few of those. And let me see, we do have ribbon. We've got Petunia Pop bordered ribbon. So let me see. I think we'll try that too. So if I do this, whoops, and then we'll move that over. I think we will. We won't have too much ribbon showing, but a little bit. I'm going to cut that at an angle. And then the easiest way that I've found to put ribbon on is to put some multi-purpose liquid glue on the back. And then we'll put it a little bit at an angle, maybe down just a little bit. Yeah. And then this will go here. And so I'm going to put this on first. I'm going to put it right here in line with the other trees. Just using my seal. And we'll line it up just like that. And for this now, we're going to use the dimensionals. I always like to overlap my ribbon because it helps to hold it down, which is nice. And yes, I do like my dimensionals. We'll take the paper off and we'll put that right here, maybe up just a touch from the bottom here. and overlapping that flap. I like that. And now we need some bling. And on this one I used the In Color Shimmer gems, but there are no blue ones in there. So I think I'm gonna try the Tinsel Gems 3-pack, and you can see they are well loved. I've got one color gone, but I believe this is Misty Moonlight and this is Fresh Freesia, and they'll both coordinate nicely, but we may end up just using the blue. We'll see. I think, you know, it partly depends on placement. So depending on where I put them on the card. So like, for example, if I put one down here, I'm going to use a blue one, but I may put one here actually. So I will use, we'll use the Fresh Freesia, maybe down here. So we'll start there, and one up here. So maybe I will use more of these than I thought, more of the Fresh Freesia. So we'll put one here. And then we need a blue, so we're going to put it down here to make our little triangle. I like that. And we could even put one here, but I think that becomes a problem with taking it in and out. It's more likely to fall off, so I didn't want to do that. But that is it. That is today's card. What do you think? So I love it. You can use the same paper pack and with a completely different color palette. And I'm gonna show you what I used to make the card. So the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set, that's where I got the Dearest Friend, I appreciate you and you make life better, and the thanks. So all of the stamps there. And I used this one here on the first card and here. So that was Thoughtful Wishes. And then in the Grove, I used the trees. And then along with that, I used the In the Grove dies. So again, oh, that's right, I forgot the little, we gotta add a little more. Here's the squirrel and the bunny, and then there's also a bear that you, or a fox, I think, that you can cut out, sorry, and the trees, which is what I used to cut that out. But that's right, we have a little bit more to go on this card. I'm glad I saw that. So this is what I have left after using a couple of the bunnies. I cut them in boho blue, 2 bunnies and 2 squirrels, and then also 2 bunnies and 2 squirrels in the Misty Moonlight, but I used 1 bunny here and 1 on the card where I made the mistake, so I don't have that one. But I think the boho blue may work just fine. I was thinking to maybe just put a couple, maybe even like this. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. We just put a couple of those there, and then we've got the 3rd one there because we do like our 3s. So I think that will be fine. And I kind of like the color contrast since they're different animals. So we're going to add those to the corner. Maybe down here a little bit with my glue dots. Now the card is finished. Isn't that cute? I really like those. All right, so, and then the other thing I wanted to show you was, of course, the paper, the Thoughtful Journey 6x6 DSP. And I don't have all of the designs left, so I've used this pack quite a bit, but here are at least some of them. This being the one we used today, and this one, no, it was a different one from this that I used here, but similar. So lots of designs and colors, and you can just pick the color palette you like best, and then pretty much coordinating on the back. So this was the one that we used today, obviously, and turn that down to show the back side. And so that's most of them, but very, very pretty. All right, so that is it. That is today's card. Oh, and I do have one other thing. I started to make a card. Here's a completely different color palette. And I didn't finish this one because I was actually making the card for a tutorial. And I realized that the paper was not available anymore because it was a celebration free item. So I couldn't use it for the tutorial. But again, you know, showing the contrast. So I didn't finish. I didn't stamp on the inside yet, but just showing the contrast, how they all coordinate together. So this was called Bloom Impressions. So if you have it, I think that would work too. And then I will finish the card. I just didn't get a chance to do that. But so again, it works with any DSP pack where you can find coordinating colors. All right, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Leave me some love in the comments. Let me know what you think of the card. If you try it, definitely take a picture and post it. I would love to see it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. You can click on the bell and be notified when I post my next video. I've been trying to do it much more frequently lately and having at least one video a week posted. So I have lots of other card designs, scrapbook pages, home decor items, tips and techniques, beginner videos, and paper pumpkin alternatives that I do every month. So a lot there, hopefully that you will find useful. All right, check it out. Take care, everyone. Happy stamping.